Hi, this is Matti Fuller. I am so excited today. I just got a call from the doctor's office saying that all my tests were negative. So what that means is that I basically cured my antibiotics resistant UTI, which later turned into interstitial cystitis, all by myself, just with remedies and herbs that I could find on the internet. And I want to tell you how to do that too, because I know that there's lots of women out there that have had cystitis for years and years on end, and they can't get rid of it, and nothing works, and they try one antibiotic after another, and it's heartbreaking to hear these stories. And you can actually do something to heal yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you my story. And I'm going to tell you and show you what kind of herbs that I found that might work for your situation as well. I don't know exactly which one of these that actually helped, or if it was all of them together. But if I tell you what I used, at least you can use your own intelligence and intuition to figure out what you might want to try for yourself. So what happened to me was, I woke up one Sunday morning and I was feeling fine. I was vacuuming the house, and all of a sudden I had to go to the bathroom. I had a strong urge to pee, and when I peed it hurt, and just a few drops came out. And 5 minutes later I went back again and tried it again, and only a few more drops came out, and I thought, oh no, I'm getting a UTI. I need to go and see a doctor. And I am a homeopath, but we live way out in the middle of nowhere, and if the homeopathics don't work fast enough, sometimes you do need antibiotic, in case the infection is coming on too quickly. So I decided to at least go to the clinic that was open an hour away and get some antibiotics, so to at least keep in my cabinet, if nothing else. So I went to see the doctor, and she listened to my symptoms and said, yeah, it sounds like you have a UTI, but let's test you for everything just to see, what it could be. And in the meantime, I'm going to give you a prescription for an antibiotic. So she gave me cephalexin, 500 milligrams, and told me to take it for 7 days. And I said, well, what about alternative remedies? And she wasn't really open to that, but she said I could play with that if I wanted to. By the time we went to Walmart and did a little bit of shopping and then went over to pick up my medicine, my pain was so bad that I almost passed out. And after I picked up the medicine and I had to go to the toilet before we went home, I was peeing blood. So I decided that this is coming on so fast, I cannot afford not to take that antibiotic. So I took the antibiotic, and I didn't really feel very much better until like maybe 4 days into the treatment. And I did the 7 days, and I still wasn't feeling totally right. And 3 days later, of course, the infection came back. And I called the doctor and talked to the nurse there, and the doctor said that it should have worked, and if it didn't work, then she couldn't work with me anymore. She's done what she can do, and that's it, and I'm on my own, basically. So I asked them what bacteria is it that we're dealing with, because 90% of UTIs are coming from E. coli, and E. coli responds very well to this product called D-Mannose. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But in my case, it was not E. coli. It was something called Klebsiella. And Klebsiella is a hospital superbug that is resistant to any kind of antibiotic. What it does is it creates a biofilm that kind of encapsulates it so that it can burrow into your bladder wall and medicines will not touch it. And then it can just, increase its numbers in there. And it protects itself under a barrier. It's called a biofilm that consists of proteins and saccharoids. Saccharoids is the food. So they found a way to just completely protect themselves, and there's nothing you can do to get rid of them. And they're fine inside your digestive system and inside your mouth, but if you get it in your urinary system and it goes up into the kidneys and ends up in your bloodstream, you can actually die from it. There's like a 50% chance of dying. And if it goes in your lungs, you can die from it too. So this was pretty serious infection for me. But because I don't give up very easily, I went on Google some of the research that I found said that they have found that it is better to boost your immune system than to attack this bacteria directly. So I came up with this product here, Interfase Plus. You can buy it on Amazon. And it consists of all kinds of Chinese herbs that will boost your immune system. It's almost like an herbal antibiotic. So I started taking that, 2 pills a day, and that helps a little bit. The other thing that really works for the E. coli infections is the Mannose and Cranberry powder. And this specific formula here from Zazee is the best Mannose formula I've been able to find. It has 2,000 milligrams of Mannose in each little scoop and 500 milligrams of cranberry. Well, the Mannose is what you need. It's kind of a sweetener made from fruit sugar, and what it does is it goes into your bladder and it makes the little tentacles on the bacteria so sticky that they can't burrow into your skin. So you can basically just pee them out. So and the Mannose is also safe to use for people with diabetes. They will not raise your blood sugar. They go right into your bladder. So if you want to do the Mannose powder, look for the one from Zazee. That is definitely the best formula because I compared a bunch of formulas. And the nice thing about this one is too that it tastes good and it blends with water really well. It's not disgusting. It doesn't taste horrible. It tastes really, really good. So those were the first 2 things that I tried. I also did some homeopathic remedies. The first one I tried was called Cantharis. And Cantharis is really good for when you have unbearable urging and pain before, during, and after you pee, as well as blood in your urine. So that one helped a little bit. Later on, when my pain got really intense, I switched it to homeopathic cannabis sativa, and that one seemed to kill the pain a bit better. So one of those might work for you too. I also went back on Google and searched more because I wanted to understand as much about this bacteria as I could. And one of the things that with antibiotic resistance bacteria is that they create a biofilm that is made from proteins that they can protect themselves under. And so I was able to find something called a biofilm disruptor. This is an enzyme formula that is made to basically break down the biofilm that the bacteria are protecting themselves with. Of course, after you break down the biofilm, then your own immune system can attack the bacteria, or you can use an antibiotic to attack the bacteria. But it's a pretty brilliant idea, and I found this great formula called Interfase Plus. This is an enzyme formula specifically made to break down biofilm in antibiotic-resistant bacteria. And the way you do it is you take the pills on an empty stomach 3 or 4 times a day before a meal or before you do these other things that you have. And then it breaks down the biofilm and then the body can deal with it. That worked really well. I started feeling a lot better when I started the Interfase Plus. Another friend of mine told me to do large doses of vitamin C. And she said the body will just pee out whatever you don't need, but she was doing 6 grams of C and then wait 2 hours and then do 4 grams of C and then wait 2 hours and then do 2 grams of C, all in one day. And she said she got rid of her UTI by just doing that. So megadoses of vitamin C might be another thing that you want to try. Another person that I know recommended this stuff to me. It's called Pure Cranberry. And this is not the kind of juice that you drink that's kind of nice tasting and lots of sugar. This has no sugar in it at all. It's made by Dynamic Health. It's called Pure Cranberry. And I would just put a couple of tablespoons of that in a glass of water, and it is the most bitter thing you can possibly drink. But if you mix it with the Mannose, it actually doesn't taste so bad. So you can do the Pure Cranberry and then mix it with a little bit of Mannose, down that, and that definitely relieved it too. Eventually I felt like most of the infection was gone. I didn't feel any pain in my stomach anymore. I didn't feel all this crazy urging all the time. But it was almost like symptoms were changing a little bit. It wasn't a constant thing anymore. It was like sometimes I was feeling great, other times I was feeling bad. If I sat on a cold bench, I would feel really bad. If I sat on a hot seat in my car, I would feel much better. So it's almost like the symptoms were changing. It didn't really feel like a normal UTI anymore. So I kept searching on Google, and I found out that there's something called interstitial cystitis, or chronic bladder pain. Now, chronic bladder pain happens when the bladder lining has been damaged, and it makes total sense. If you have had a superbug infection that has been really digging in there and nothing has worked for it, and it's been in there for a while, it makes total sense that it damaged your bladder lining. And what happens then is that anything in the urine can leak into your bladder wall, and all these little nerve endings are so exposed that they will react with pain, urging, peeing too often, all of that. Same symptoms as a UTI, but it comes and goes. And there's nothing they can do about it, because if there is no bacteria, they can't give you antibiotic. So they have no cure for it. And there's people out there, I've seen videos on the internet of people who had it for 3 or 4 years. And it's awful. So I'm thinking to myself, well, if that's what it's turned into, then I need some way of rebuilding that bladder wall. 2 layers of your bladder wall can get damaged when you have an infection like that. So I found another formula. This is awesome. This is called Cysto Renew. Cysto Renew. And this is a formula that has all kinds of good things in there, including aloe vera, that is specifically made to rebuild your bladder lining. And once you rebuild that, then the pain will go away, of course. So I used that for a while. This is also 4 times a day. You get 120 capsules and it's enough for a month. It's an expensive formula. You can buy that on Amazon too. It's about $50 for one of these bottles. But I tell you, it's well worth it if it takes away the pain and it rebuilds your bladder lining. So I started buying that. And now I have very little pain left. It's almost all gone. And I went back to the doctor and got tested one more time. And I got the test results today. Everything is negative. So whatever I was doing with all these things, it actually really, really worked. All right. So if you're struggling with a bladder infection and your doctor is turning their back on you like they did to me and say to you, you're on your own, I can't help you, I don't care, I understand that you're in pain, but my medicine isn't working and I have no other alternative for you, so you're on your own. And be aware that if it gets in your bloodstream, you're going to die. Okay, that is a very scary thing to hear from a doctor. Then don't lose hope, because if I can cure myself, you can too. So try one of these products and please let me know in the comments below if it's working for you too. And if you think that one is working better than another, I would be interested in hearing about that too. So I hope you like this video and share it with all your friends. Anyone that you know that has this problem needs to know this. All right, so I hope you have a good day and thank you for listening. Bye.